A retired woman boarded her cruise thinking everything was fine. 40 minutes later, security pulled her suitcase aside. There was nothing illegal inside, no alcohol, no weapons, no banned items. So why was her bag flagged? That's what we're going to unpack today, because this happens far more often than most retirees realize, and once you understand why, you can prevent it completely. Cruise ships process between 2,000 and 5,000 bags in just a few hours on embarkation day. Security teams are not only looking for illegal items, they are looking for fire risks, density irregularities, battery concerns, and patterns that require clarification. And here's the detail almost nobody explains clearly. Most bags get pulled not because of what's inside, but because of how it appears on the scanner. Let's walk through the 9 most common reasons cruise security pulls luggage, starting at number 9 and counting down to the one issue that surprises even experienced cruisers. Number 9. The harmless power strip. Carol and Jim, both in their early 70s, packed a small white power strip in their checked bag. It looked safe. It was marketed as travel approved. They had used it in hotels for years. But cruise ships are not hotels. Their strip had built-in surge protection. On a cruise vessel, that internal surge component is considered a fire risk because of the ship's electrical design. On the scanner, surge strips show dense circuitry. Security doesn't see the box label, they see the internal pattern. Their suitcase was diverted automatically. Instead of walking straight to lunch after boarding, they were directed to a small security room below deck to retrieve the item. The power strip was confiscated for the duration of the cruise. Financial cost, about $25. Emotional cost, starting their vacation feeling in trouble. Time cost, nearly 90 minutes. The solution is specific. Only bring cruise-approved, non-surge outlet adapters, no extension cords, no built-in surge modules. But this is only the beginning. Number 8. Heating devices you forgot were heating devices. Margaret packed a compact clothing steamer. She didn't even think twice about it. She wanted her formal night outfit wrinkle-free. Steamers contain heating coils. Heating coils on a ship equals scrutiny. On the X-ray image, heating elements appear tight circular density clusters. Security flags them instantly because maritime fire codes are extremely strict. The crew isn't accusing you of doing wrong. They're enforcing safety regulations written after decades of maritime fire incidents. Margaret's bag wasn't confiscated, but it was delayed until late afternoon while the item was reviewed. She boarded at noon. Her suitcase arrived at 6:45 p.m. That meant no access to her medications stored inside, no change of shoes, no ability to freshen up before dinner. The fix? Use wrinkle release spray or ship laundry services instead. And this is where many retirees unintentionally make things worse. Number 7. Dense clusters of liquids. Tom and Linda packed carefully. Shampoo, sunscreen, lotion, mouthwash, all sealed. They placed every bottle together in a zippered pouch inside one corner of the suitcase. On a scanner, that grouping appears as a thick liquid mass. Security officers don't see brand names clearly, they see density contrast. 5 dark liquid containers tightly stacked resemble something else entirely in grayscale imaging. Their bag wasn't confiscated, it was simply held for review. Held long enough that their luggage didn't reach their cabin until after dinner. That delay changed their first-day rhythm. Instead of exploring the ship, they kept checking the hallway for their suitcase. Spacing liquids apart dramatically reduces this risk. Separate heavy items. Avoid stacking dense materials in one block. Now here's where things become more personal. Number 6. Medication without original labels. Robert uses a daily pill organizer, 1 compartment per day, 7 days a week. It keeps his routine simple. But during screening, unlabeled medication containers trigger clarification procedures, especially on international itineraries. Cruise ships operate under multiple layers of regulation: maritime law, port authority law, and international customs standards. When pills are not in their original prescription bottles, security may need verification. That doesn't mean suspicion, it means confirmation. Robert was asked to visit the security desk with identification and documentation. 30 minutes passed, then 45. By the time he returned to the cabin, his wife had already unpacked alone. The financial cost was zero. The stress cost was significant. Best practice: keep prescriptions in original labeled containers during travel, transferred to organizers once on board. We're halfway through this list, and the reasons only get more subtle. If you're planning a cruise this year, this channel is designed to help you avoid these small but frustrating setbacks step by step. Consider subscribing so you don't miss the next guide, because number 5 is where technology becomes the trigger. Number 5. Lithium battery packs with unclear ratings. Portable chargers are common, especially for retirees who rely on phones for photos, excursions, and communication. But lithium batteries are treated very seriously at sea. After several high-profile maritime battery fires in the last decade, cruise lines tightened watt-hour limits and visibility requirements. If your battery pack's watt-hour rating isn't clearly printed on the casing, it may be flagged for inspection. David packed a high-capacity battery he bought online. It was compliant, but the watt-hour label was printed faintly. Security couldn't verify it quickly. His bag was diverted. He had to confirm the device in person before it was cleared. Time cost? Roughly 1 hour. Emotional cost? Feeling like something serious had happened. Choose smaller, airline-compliant battery packs with clearly visible ratings. Now we move into the final 4, where the reasons become even less obvious. Number 4. Excessive food quantities. Snacks are allowed in reasonable amounts, but cruise lines must comply with port agricultural restrictions. Large quantities of packaged food can resemble resale intent or restricted import. Susan packed 24 protein bars, 12 snack packs of crackers, and several sealed dry fruit bags, all bundled tightly in one packing cube. Security flagged the dense cluster. Some items were returned, some were removed. The issue wasn't legality, it was volume. Her suitcase arrived 4 hours late. That meant waiting in the hallway instead of relaxing by the pool. Keep snacks moderate. Avoid large, dense bundles. Because number 3 is something even experienced cruisers overlook. Number 3. Layered electronics that create suspicious density. Mark considered himself an organized traveler. He packed his tablet, Kindle, phone charger, camera charger, and a bundle of cables all neatly wrapped together in one section of a suitcase. Everything was legal. Everything was allowed. But on the scanner, tightly wrapped cords layered over electronic devices create overlapping density lines. Those overlapping lines can resemble restricted wiring patterns. Security doesn't assume wrongdoing. They assume uncertainty. And uncertainty triggers manual inspection. Mark didn't know anything was wrong until he noticed his bag hadn't arrived by mid-afternoon. By 5:30 p.m., he was still waiting. When he finally called guest services, he was told the bag had been pulled for review. His first evening felt rushed. He changed clothes minutes before dinner. The relaxed rhythm he expected on day 1 never quite materialized. The fix is surprisingly simple. Separate electronics into different compartments. Keep cables loose rather than tightly wrapped. Avoid stacking metal objects directly over one another. But this next reason surprises even seasoned cruisers. Number 2. Balcony accessories that trigger fire protocol. Emily loved creating cozy spaces. For her anniversary cruise, she packed small clip-on lights in a battery-operated lantern for their balcony. They were not candles. They were not open flames. They seemed harmless. But balconies are considered high-risk zones at sea. Wind patterns, fabric materials, and proximity to other cabins increase fire sensitivity. When security sees compact lighting devices clustered together, especially with wiring, they may flag the bag, not because the item is illegal, because balconies are regulated spaces. Emily's bag was held for inspection. The items were returned, but the delay cost her most of the afternoon. She and her husband missed sail away from the top deck because they were waiting for confirmation. On a 7-night cruise, that may not seem catastrophic, but emotionally, missing that first sail-away moment can feel disappointing. Avoid bringing any items meant to modify your balcony environment. Use what the ship provides. And now, we arrive at the most overlooked reason of all. Number 1. Packing density that mimics restricted patterns. This is the detail almost nobody explains clearly. Security scanners don't just detect individual objects. They analyze shapes, layering, density, and contrast. When heavy clothing is compressed tightly around electronics, when liquids are stacked in one corner, when cords wrap tightly around metal devices, the combined image can resemble something restricted, even if every item inside is permitted. This is why 2 passengers can pack identical items and only one bag gets flagged. It isn't about legality, it's about clarity. Clear scanner images pass through quickly. Unclear images require review. Review requires time. Time delays luggage delivery. And on embarkation day, delays compound quickly. If your suitcase is pulled at 12:30 p.m. and there are 300 other bags in queue, you may not see it until early evening. That means no access to formal clothing, no fresh shoes, no medications stored inside, no unpacking before dinner. For some retirees, that small disruption creates unnecessary stress on a day that should be calm. The prevention strategy is straightforward. Pack invisible layers. Avoid compressing dense items into one block. Distribute electronics apart from liquids. Keep cords loose. Place heavier objects towards the center rather than edges. This alone reduces inspection probability dramatically. If you're planning a cruise this year, this channel is built specifically to help you avoid these kinds of unnecessary stress points before you board. If that's useful to you, consider subscribing so you don't miss the next guide. Most pulled bags aren't illegal, they're just unclear on the scanner. Pack with separation, carry essentials with you, and you'll avoid most delays. If you're sailing soon, watch the next guide on cabin checks before you unpack.